This is Turner Mining Live, where we give you a behind-the-scenes look at how we're innovating to change the game and grow a business in an ancient but still booming industry.
Well, the intro sounded pretty legit. I don't know how the content's going to be, but super pumped. This is the first official podcast here at Turner Mining Live. For the 4 people that don't know who might be listening to this, tell us who you are, what you've been doing. You and I have crossed paths several years ago, still follow each other. You're probably one of the 2 or 3 most influential people in the dirt world today, which is pretty cool. Young guy. So Aaron Witt's here. Tell us who you are and what you're doing.
Well, yeah, Aaron Witt. I run Build Witt. If you haven't heard of it, we do basically storytelling for the dirt world. I make the dirt world look real pretty. We're trying to solve some problems, solve the people problem, reach a few people online.
So a few?
Yeah, just a few.
What is it, 1 million a week? What are you up to now?
It's a few million, yeah, but I forget about that all the time.
Yeah?
I forget people watch anything I do.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, I remember you before Build Witt. I remember you back when it was just Witt Industries or whatever you started with.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was probably, when did Build Witt become a thing?
It was just before I graduated in May of 2017. I started it just before I graduated college.
Okay.
Yep.
So I was probably following you in 16.
Yeah.
Because we started Turner Mining Group in 17 as well. And I'll never forget our first little romantic dinner. You still had a full-time salary job, a good job. I had just left my salary job, and we met somewhere in South Texas, and I tried to convince you to come work for us. You had bigger plans, and they're working out for you. So what's it been like? I know what it's been like for us since 2017. It's, I think by the numbers, percentage-wise, you guys grew more than we did last year, and shoot, we hired we added over 250 people to the team in 2019, something like that. Right. So what's the ride been like? Because it's a ride.
It's definitely a ride. Yeah, for us, it's been a little different because there wasn't really a plan to any of this. It started out with just me sharing pictures online with no agenda. I just had a bunch of pictures from working for Kiewit and Skanska and big companies doing big stuff. And that was the plan, just start sharing online with no real intention behind it. Started to take off, got a job because of my social following with a software company in Texas. So I quit my construction job a few months into it. I was supposed to be there a few years. Went down to a software company. Software company was not for me. It was in an office every day, and I don't do very well in an office. So a few months later, I had enough of it. Quit my job, making a ton of money. That didn't really matter to me. Quit my job, moved in with my dad, so I didn't have to pay rent or anything. I had no expenses. I just had to feed myself.
That's the way to do it.
And then had to figure out, all right, I don't have a job anymore. Let's try to make some money somehow because I have to feed myself. And then it started, Turner Mining was probably the first company we started working with. There were a few, but Turner Mining, from the beginning, I think my very first trip for Build Witt, I moved back to Arizona from Texas to my dad's house. And then a week later, I think we were on a Turner Mining Group site in middle of nowhere, West Texas.
And where'd you sleep on that visit when you came to visit?
Yeah. I forgot about that. I slept in my car.
Yep.
Yeah, because I didn't want to spend any money. So
freezing balls in West Texas.
I was freezing my ass off. Yeah, I don't know if I can swear, but
of course you
there's no rules here.
Good. Yeah. In the middle of a wind farm because it was like a 5-hour drive, and I wanted to get there for sunrise because the pictures at sunrise are real nice. So I slept in a wind farm, and it must have been 20 degrees. I was just freezing.
Yeah, that was an interesting little job. Albert, he probably thought, who in the world is this little kid coming out here with a drone flying it by my head while I'm loading trucks?
Yep.
Good memories. So obviously the beginning was really cool. We started our first job. We lost 30 grand. I don't think you got to go to that one, but The next one's the one you went to. And then from there, it's just been off to the races. I was telling you before we started recording, we get our daily ball kickings. I just got an email from a client a few minutes ago, and we get kicked in the balls at least once a day, usually multiple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, yeah, I know, we do too, and that's the fun part. Most people don't hear any of this stuff.
Yeah.
They see Instagram, and I was telling you I haven't posted on Instagram other than the little Con Expo thing I did. I haven't posted in the last couple weeks. It's so unicorns, lollipops, and rainbows anymore. Your pictures are legit. They're the best. Zach's pictures and videos are legit. Love them. They're so awesome. They're too awesome. People have hired on with us, and they see the pictures and videos, and they're like, "Holy crap! I didn't realize we were getting up at 4 in the morning, and we were going to get dirty.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get scratched up. Getting it's they don't see any of that, and it's really hard for me to articulate how much you get kicked in the balls in this business. Whether you're the owner, whether you're me or you trying to build a business, it's tough, or whether you're a new guy trying to start out in a haul truck and prove your way all the way up, or whether you're someone somewhere in the middle, there's no easy path. What's it like for you guys?
It's the same thing. Everyone, they always tell me, man, I just wish I could travel all the time like you do and see all the cool stuff you do. And it's like, I don't take it for granted. I thank God every morning. I just thank you for everything in my life. Thanks for all the struggles, but it sucks sometimes. And I try to take people along. Like, maybe my most popular post I ever posted on LinkedIn was about us running out of money. I mean, credit cards were shut off. I thought I could just turn off my automatic payments to American Express.
They don't do that.
No, but I had no idea. And then 2 weeks later, my card doesn't work at the airport at midnight to get my rental car. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I need to pay my credit card bills. So that's been established. But I try to take people along, like crashed a rental car and all kinds of bad stuff happens all the time to us. Missed, I don't know how many flights this year, almost as many as I've had on time, and travel never goes well, weather.
But you guys, I mean, I know enough about building a business now because I've lived through it the last 3 years. There's a whole lot that goes on that you're not sharing and you can't share.
And and people don't see that. They see me having fun out on job sites, but then I go home after traveling 12, 14 hours a day, and then I have to run the business. So I have to go figure out insurance. I'm working through health insurance right now. Like long-term disability. I didn't even know what that was two weeks ago.
Well, you're 24. You're not supposed to know what that is.
I know. And taxes and just making money and the infrastructure you have to create once more money starts flowing in and flowing out. You have to build infrastructure and build hiring infrastructure. And
you mean you have to pay the government before you get paid?
Apparently, yeah.
Is that how that works?
Well, and pay everyone within your company before you get paid too.
Yeah.
That's what I figured out.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kind of salary the first year and a half of doing this. I was trying to pay everyone else. I'm still trying to pay everyone else before I pay myself because I'm just a 24-year-old kid. I don't need anything.
And that's why I tell people, and I think a lot of folks have become cynical to some of my messaging when I say, well, it's not about the money. I don't need a Lamborghini. I don't want a yacht. I say that because when you're the guy, you really do get paid last, if ever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, and I think a lot of the small business guys, I'm gonna have dudes on here like Connor Holman and some other dudes who really grind it out, Ryan Goodfellow and some of those guys who, dude, those people will tell you there's years I never got paid. Like we worked all year, we did really well, we performed well, the clients were satisfied, and I never really got paid. Mm-hmm. I covered my expenses, my meals, and this and that, but I kept all my profit in the company because we know we wanted to grow the next year. It's just, unless you live through that, and I don't even think people can understand it with us even talking about it, unless you really live through it and you see, income statements, balance sheets, and at the end of the day, you're like, oh, wait a second, I'm paying the government every quarter, and there's, where's the money?
Yeah.
Where is it? It's a whole lot different when you live through it. So I don't know how to get that messaging. You're a lot better on Instagram at me. I think your post, the one, especially on LinkedIn, when you talked about running out of money, killer. I mean, I was like, I don't know what that read. It was like 1 million people or something.
Yeah, it was probably 1 million
LinkedIn,
people and
LinkedIn, that's a lot.
messages.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yep. But everyone can relate to it. LinkedIn, it's all, a lot, not all, but a lot of them are small business owners who are like, yeah, I run out of money every week.
Yep.
I barely make payroll every week. We had the same problem. It was back, I don't know, probably right after you started, Thomas. Yeah. Early. Yeah. It was early on. Yeah. And we had a huge line of credit. I mean, huge. Bigger than I ever thought we would have ever in the business, let alone now. And I'm looking around and look over at Gant, my partner, and I'm like, dude, we're out of money. Mm-hmm. Or I think he looked over at me like, dude, we're out of money. Yep. We were making great money. So it's crazy when you live through it. But I know that you get kicked in the balls with other stuff. A lot of it's probably client stuff. What was your biggest failure in 2019? Whether it was a client firing you, whatever,
Yeah, and in 2019 we got fired quite a few times. by some of the biggest companies in the industry, period. And I've got some good chewings on the phone, and some things have ended poorly. Some things have just ended, and you're sitting there just scratching your head like, what the hell just happened? But I think everyone knows the answer to this. Probably the biggest kick in the balls this year was from, you guys going in a different direction early this year. Most people don't even know that. I think everyone still thinks we've been working together for this whole year, but we haven't really worked together since first quarter of this year, since April.
This is the first time I've seen you in person. Man, it's been
since Ag 1 in January.
Since January.
And it's December.
Almost a year.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, you guys wanted to go in a different direction. We thought we were going in another direction. We thought we were going to be, going with you guys for a long time. Didn't turn out that way. For everyone had their reasons, but it was, the biggest blessing in the world too. I mean, by far the biggest blessing. That's why I'm here. I'm not bitter about it or anything anymore. But at the time, it was like,
glad he's not anymore.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Honestly, it was like,
I
like at
remember
the
our
time,
phone calls.
Man, but it was like a girl broke up with you.
Yep.
You just have that pit in your stomach. You're just like,
The one you thought you were marrying, right?
yeah. You thought you were married, and you're like, man, that hurts. Like, it's just in your stomach.
Yeah.
Like, you talked about kicking the balls. It's a kick in the balls. But I've tried to adopt a mentality this year that everything's my responsibility. So we looked at it from we didn't blame anyone. We didn't blame you guys or anything. We were like, all right, what could we have done better? And how did we screw this one up? Because we screwed it up. And from there, I thought, all right, my theoretically, my best client just fired me. So how do I prevent this from happening again? And how do I create a business that's irreplaceable? That cannot just be, you can't just phase it out of the company. How can I be a part of every company I work with now? And so that's now our business model going forward. It started to take shape, but 2020 is where it's really going to take off, is this new model where it's not just marketing anymore. We're phasing the term marketing out of our business. It's now we're going to go into used equipment. Now we're going to go into training. Now we're going to be attacking multiple problems for the same customer base.
It's crazy to hear you talk about it like you do, because for me, it just proves that you are a thoroughbred entrepreneur. There's a lot of people that, they would get fired by somebody, especially one of their best friends. We've been friends long before you started charging me for pictures. You were taking pictures for free for a year,
Yeah.
A real entrepreneur is someone that says, okay, this is the biggest problem I'm facing. I'm going to go turn this into the biggest positive of 2019. I mean, I've told Zach, and I think we mentioned on the little teaser episode we did, BuildWitt's the reason why we are who we are now, hands down. And I'm not saying that to boost your ego because you're sitting here. I think anyone that followed us early on, I mean, the first probably 100 people we hired because of BuildWitt.
Yeah.
All the cool pictures and how it started. And the whole reason Zach's standing here is because you brought him on a site, and I thought, man, this dude's talented, and obviously he was talented. But, I mean, we wouldn't be even half of what, if we tried the traditional contractor method where you go win the job, you do a good job, you try to, use those positive words of affirmation from that client to the next client. This it's not scalable.
Yeah.
You gave us a pathway to scalability that really no one else could. And it's just, I don't know, it was super interesting. It was in a good time where Instagram organic reach was high. LinkedIn organic reach was insane, and it still is high.
Still is.
But, I can honestly say that was probably one of the toughest conversations, and Thomas was around.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was one of the toughest conversations I had because you were clearly upset. I was upset.
Yeah.
And it was just two of us in the places that our businesses were in, just growing in different directions. So, I mean, if you can take that kick in the balls and change your business model and your outlook for 2019, it's crazy, because I don't think the guys that you have now, that was just you back then, right? You and Dan?
And Dan was part-time. He was working for nothing.
And
really.
now you got a team.
Yeah. And after that phone call, I did some soul searching and wrote down my whole business on some papers. It was 10 pages, thought about my whole business plan, everything.
Love that.
And someone, basically my second dad, this guy, he is ruthless entrepreneur. Ruthless. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars. Who knows how much money this guy has, but you'd never know it. He wears the same clothes he wore 20 years ago. And I grew up with him my whole life, so I got to watch how this guy eats breakfast and talks to people and acts, everything. Studied this guy for years. And so I took my business plan to him. I said, what do you think? And he gives it maybe 3 minutes. And I spent 2-3 days working on this damn thing. He spends 3 minutes looking at it. He's like, yeah, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that's good.
And it's just brutal honesty. And I'm sitting there like, okay, all right, yep, I need to do something different. He pointed out the obvious. He's like, yeah, your best partner just fired you. Like, you think you have a good business? No, you don't have a good business. And I'm like, okay, all right, I see your point. And so, like I just said, we went back to the drawing board, and we have really diversified, and I've started to understand the fundamental problems of the industry and see the problems that we're facing and actually start seeing some solutions now. So there's a much bigger picture of what we're doing.
Well, and it's, I tell these guys all the time, I've watched you from the early days before BuildWitt existed to now, and seeing the transformation early on. It was just you behind the camera, and then when you brought some other guys on, I was like, man, no one's going to replace Aaron's talent behind the camera. It's clear. I mean, you can tell the difference in the pictures. Yeah. And now you've been able to scale yourself into a whole team of people. And I've seen some of your marketing materials that are going out, and it's wild. It's rare to have success early on, but it's rare to have success at your age too. I mean, I'm 6 or 7 years ahead of you. It's really impressive to watch how you've taken, because you're selling to the unsellable. These people don't want what you're buying, most of them. These huge corporations, they think their middle level manager who's doing marketing and went to school for it is going to reach all these people and hire the people they need. They don't have any clue that the attention's on Instagram. And if you can tell by just looking at some of their pages. Look at John Deere's page, or Hitachi, or, dare I even say, Cat's Instagram. I mean,
yeah,
you look at their content, and this is not me being cynical. I know what they're up against. They've got a whole team. They got more lawyers on staff than we got people employed. So I know what, Tracy is standing here keeping me from saying anything inappropriate. I can't imagine what Cat has. But those methods just aren't reaching people the way that you're reaching people. No. It's just you were here last night. We had a team. We had some of our Mind Foreman training guys here, one of our classes. And I think every single one of them, when they got to meet you, they were like, dude, you are the reason in one way, shape, form, or the other why I'm at Turner. And I know there's a ton of other companies out there with the same people saying the same thing. Man, the only reason I'm at Granite is because of Aaron, or the only reason I'm at wherever is because of BuildWitt. Dude, it's a big nod for me to you, because I know how hard it is in this business, and it's impressive to watch you. It's been,
one, we wouldn't be here without Turner Mining Group, because you were the first ones willing to give us money to do this.
I wanted you on my payroll.
Yeah, you wanted me on your payroll, but you started paying us to take pictures and post on social media. I don't know if it was smart or stupid at the time, because you're paying us, what I thought was good money at the time. I was like, man, I could make money at this. Like, holy smokes, I just took some pictures, and then someone just gave me a check for it. This is insane.
Well, we probably paid quicker than anybody, because I knew.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, Aaron is literally sleeping in his car.
Yeah.
He needs this check worse than Caterpillar needs a check this week.
Yeah, but and I'm extremely thankful for our business relationship, for when it existed. It was the first year of our business. We got to learn a lot with you guys. You took some chances on us, like that video project. I thought, what we asked money-wise from, like, holy smokes, they said yes. Like, this is crazy. And then you said you needed a video, and I'm like, oh, absolutely, I can do that. And then my second phone call was to Zach, like, hey, so I don't really know how to do this.
I need a video guy.
I don't know how to make a video. Can you help me out here? And then we just worked it out, and I got this awesome video out of it. And even afterwards, I was like, I don't really know how we did that.
What most people don't realize, we use that video, and I'll the number, it was a I don't know, what is that, a 5-digit number back then? It was an expensive price tag.
Yeah.
And that was like over a year ago, a year and a half ago. We used that video I got on stage and spoke a few times, and we used that video as like the intro to my speaking thing. I'm not lying. After I was done speaking, there was a line of people waiting to ask questions, waiting to talk. Some of them were potential clients. Some of them were, just curious people. I want to say a lot of it was your video and not my speaking, but dude, I'm not lying. We landed clients. We landed multi-million-dollar projects, and that video had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 1% of a factor, but for the amount of money we spent, and I think that's what a lot of people don't get with LinkedIn and Instagram. spending some time on LinkedIn. I mean, we've had guys grinding it out on LinkedIn the last 30 days, making a big marketing push for 2020. I bet we've had $200 million worth of opportunities come in the door strictly from LinkedIn in the last, 30, 60, 90 days, something like that. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. And I think a target audience for you that's pretty much untapped because you are selling to the unsellable are people like us, small contractors, mid-sized contractors who just don't do a good job not only marketing to their recruiting candidates, but marketing to their clients. Mm-hmm. It's what you did for us was just a pathway to, okay, people now know who Turner is. People didn't know. I had nothing to stand on when we started. So I use your pictures to make it seem like we were a lot bigger than we were, a lot cooler, a lot sexier than we were. Yep. Told stories that were, they were all true, but it was a real look at what we were doing. And I think that's why we're doing the podcast. We want people to get the real look at what we're doing, who we are. And I think you guys are killing it. I want to meet Angel here when we're done and some of the other guys. And I've never even met Dan. I've talked to Dan a lot. Yep. But it's really cool what you're doing. So what's coming up for 2020?
So we're planning 2020 right now, trying to figure out our cash flow problem. So trying to figure out how much money we're going to make all of next year, which is pretty sweet. We did 500% increase this year. We're going to do another 500% next year. Sick. By the looks of it.
I like that a whole lot.
Yeah. It this year began with just one employee. Now we have 5, hired another one last night, 6.
Awesome.
About 15 part-time people.
Who'd you get?
Actually, Dan's son is going to come on board.
No way.
Sweet. Yeah, cool. Start doing paid ads for us.
Family affair. Love it.
Yep. Yeah. But it doesn't matter if it's a son or not. I'd be hiring him regardless.
Does the payroll thing freak you out?
It payroll itself doesn't freak. It's just a reality of running a business. It's just how it works now. You have money going out, money going in, and the money going out now it's crazy. It's like you go from personal expenses to a few $1,000s on your credit card is scary, and then you go to business expenses and you have enormous credit card bills, insane. 50, 100,000. You're like, okay, yeah, it just is what it is.
Yep.
So how do you? I know that, and you've spoke about this a little bit in the past, and you don't speak about it a whole lot, and I don't think society talks about it enough. Anxiety is a real thing when you own a business and when you run a business. Yeah. But specifically when you own the business and are running it, an owner operator. How are you dealing with that? Because one employee is one thing. When it's just you, it's like, man, if I fail, so what? So I'll go get a job.
Exactly.
You got 6 people to feed now.
Yeah, and we're looking, we'll probably be 20, 25 by the end of next year.
How are you dealing with that, the burden of just all of that?
It's, the beginning of this year was rough, real bad anxiety. The anxiety lately has just been making payroll because it is so up and down. Some days you'll have more money than you know what to do with. And then some days you'll check your account and you're like, I swear I had a lot more money than this. I have, 2 weeks ago, I had a few $100s in the company checking account. I'm sitting there, I'm like, how did this happen? Yeah. and we don't have lines of credit or anything. We've done it. We've grown our business from 0 to 7 figures on a credit card. They have to pay 30 days off, or every 30 days. That's it. American Express, period. And Wells Fargo's declined or denied us for lines of credit so many times over. And because I'm 24 years old, I don't have any real credit history. So when I ask for $100,000, they're like, nah, we're all right, but thanks. Yeah. And there's no federal tax return to prove that, no, I've made this money that I'm telling you.
Yeah, you need this year's tax return to give you some clout to go get some money.
Yeah, so next year will be nice. But this year, just health has been a big thing for me.
Yeah,
I've worked out every single day since March.
You've done 75 hard a couple times.
Yeah. I've been really religious about just health, working out every day, get my wiggles out in the morning. It just makes a huge difference, even though it's 20 degrees and cold and miserable. Most of the places I'm at now, you still got to do it. So that's been good. Just building good team. So you're with good people. Having a mission that you believe in has really helped out. Yeah, and starting. The bigger pictures really helped me and start to understand, holy smokes, this is the opportunity we have in front of us. This is way bigger than just pictures and Instagram. And everyone, they introduced me like, oh, yeah, he's great at Instagram. I'm sitting there, I'm like, you have no idea what we're doing right now. Exactly. That's 5% of what I have in my mind and what's starting to get on paper.
Because Instagram will go away sometime, right?
It'll go away. And I want it to be 0% of my business, realistically. And we're phasing out social media from our business right now. I don't want to be doing social media for companies.
You just dropped a bomb because, and I'll say that because everyone knows you you're the Instagram. You're like the king of dirt on Instagram, chief dirt nerd.
Yeah.
Like, without Instagram, what is Aaron Witt? But I think it's super interesting because you're not looking to 2020, just like us. You're looking to 2025, 2030. What are you gonna? You're so young.
Yeah.
This is not a, hey, we're gonna build it and sell it, and I'm gonna go, do something different.
No, there's no end to this. And I look at everything at a 40-year time horizon. And this industry has a big problem on their hands. I mean, a big problem. You look at everyone has gray hair.
Yep.
And no one has a solution. No one.
The average age of the miner in our industries is 52 years old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so 52, but then you'll ask an executive, and I have with the biggest mining companies in the industry, biggest multi-billion-dollar public companies. So what's your plan? There's no plan.
No idea.
They blame the labor shortage. They say, well,
And they go blame people.
Yeah.
It's the millennials. It's the colleges. Blame. And it's like, okay, that's great. If you want to go do that, that's fine. And so I've accepted that these multi-billion-dollar companies, they don't impress me anymore because they're clueless and they're dying slowly. It's just going to be slowly bleeding out for the next 10, 20 years. So I want to go after you guys, younger business owners. And we're partnered with about 20 companies right now. We're talking to 10 more.
Love that.
And we turn down probably 95% of the companies that reach out to us, spend $0 on marketing.
When you turn a client down, why are you turning them down?
Because we want to make sure they're the right fit. They need to have the right mindset because the industry needs to change. The way of doing business has got us here, but it's not going to get us any further because of people, right? Yeah. And so the industry, what I've figured out is this industry has been focused on two things: production, profit, period. Yep. Nothing else matters. Production, profit. They'll say safety. They'll say people. It's all nonsense.
Yep.
I've been to more job sites in the country than almost anyone in this country.
I would say this year you've been to more sites than anybody.
Yesterday I was in steel mills. I'll be at airports, tunnels, the biggest mines in the country. I've seen the industry in 25, 30 states. And so I've been able to, okay, here are the problems. So the industry is not mission driven. It's just production, profit, period. That's why companies exist. They think if we don't make money, we don't survive. So they've taken that and made it their purpose.
Yep.
And so that's the industry's problem. And so we want to partner with companies that they kind of understand that they need to do business differently. So let's go move dirt and let's go build stuff and treat people like crap. That's not going to get us any further. We need to do things differently, but we don't know how.
Yeah.
So we want to do things differently, but we need someone to help us out, and that's where we're at. Is hey, we're here to help you not just look better, but truly operate your business better. Treat your people right. Look at turnover. Why are people leaving your company? What do your hiring practices look like? What does your onboarding look like? What does your training look like? What are your core values? What's your mission? What's your brand stand for? So what is your company as a whole? Why are you waking up every morning and doing what you do? And it'll be $1 billion company. You'll ask the executive, so why do you get up in the morning? And they don't have an answer. That's the problem.
Crazy.
They don't have an answer to what they're doing. And this industry, it's a shame because it has a beautiful, beautiful fundamental answer. None of this could function without it. The whole built world is thanks to mining and construction.
Yeah.
It's fundamental in society.
Yep.
That and farming. Those two things don't happen, nothing else happens. Banking doesn't happen, real estate doesn't happen, tech doesn't happen, nothing else functions. You turn the water on in the morning, you're welcome. Drive to work, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And so there's this really cool purpose there that we need to preach. We need to get it out there, and it starts at the top. There's leadership, communicating that purpose and just getting them to understand, okay, now I need to focus instead on production profit, 100% on people.
Yeah.
And then the most amazing thing is production will be higher and you'll make more money. I'm not telling people to make less money. I'm telling people to make more money and giving them a way to do it.
I talked to a VP the other day of a big mechanical contractor in Florida, and he asked, what are you guys looking for in your workforce, because there's this big labor shortage? And I was like, well, there's really not a labor shortage. There's a shortage of managers, and there's a shortage of companies that want to invest in young, inexperienced people. Yeah. It's hard to find 52-year-old Bobs that have been there and done that. If we could have a whole staff full of Alberts, it would be a pretty mean-looking staff, but they would be a really experienced staff. You can't find enough experienced people these days. No. They are with a company, they're riding it out for the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to retire. Mm-hmm. They're not jumping ship. So, we had one of our recruiters in here yesterday, and she's a full-blown savage. I know the only way we win we're going to capitalize on the people that you're talking about, the billion-dollar companies that don't get the people thing.
Yeah.
We're going to win because we're going to win the people game. I want solid human beings on my team. Whether you've got experience or not, whether you've been to school or not, whether you're super educated or have all these polished skills, doesn't matter to me. What matters to me, are you a good human being? We can teach you all the other stuff. And in 3 to 5 years, let's say you have no experience now, you're an 18-year-old kid coming straight out of high school. College isn't for you. I know in 3 years, if you follow our plan and come in here and do the training and you listen to some of our managers, you'll be an unbelievable asset in 3 years, maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year. We had an 18-year-old kid, Jared. You remember Jared?
Yeah.
Jared came straight off the farm at 18.
Yep.
He's now running crews. He's running multi-million-dollar projects. 21. I don't even think he's 21. I think he's 20.
20.
He's
Well,
20
that's why you guys are winning. It's so you just look at the pool, right? If you have a pool of labor, it's being drained at one end. All these people retiring, and it's only accelerating. So it's only going more and more and more out. And then you look at the little trickling stream going in. There's really nothing going in right now.
Yep.
So the pool's getting smaller and smaller. And what everyone's doing in this industry is just fighting for all the same people.
All exactly.
Just
they're
poaching everyone
They're
else.
not pulling any of these kids. I
They're
think
not creating anything new.
for me, it would be super exciting to go to every high school and tell all these kids, hey, you've got an option. You can go to college, and you can go into debt, or you can cause your parents to go into debt, and you can get a piece of paper that says you know something. But reality is, when you get out of school, you're going to realize you don't know anything. Yep. You really don't know anything. No. You should go to school for the experience, have fun. I got 2 degrees. I went to school, had a great time. I got out of school. I got in the field. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I had a construction degree and a business degree. I'm running a business in the construction mining industry. I use my degree 0%.
Yep.
These kids in high school need to realize, man, I don't necessarily need to go to college to make an unbelievable life for myself. We've got 21-year-old kids making 6 figures. No lie. Now, they work a lot. They're gone. They're away from home. They're putting in the hours just like you. But you can do that. It's crazy to me that message isn't being preached loud enough. And I think you're doing a good job about preaching it. But for us, we want to pull kids into the industry that otherwise weren't coming.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking at a picture of on Instagram of an excavator or dozer, chances are you'd love to go do that and get paid for it.
Yep.
You know, if you're spending free time scrolling dirt videos and watching Witt or watching Turner or watching Ryan operate, you know, a wristy twirly excavator thingy, whatever they're called. I don't even know what they're called.
Yep.
Chances are you want Ryan or Aaron or Keaton to pay you to come do that, you know? And so, I mean, for us, good, solid human beings, we're trying to pull people into the industry. Now, it's crazy to think we're going to be successful with a team full of young and experienced people. We've had to scalp. We've done a lot of scalping here lately of some experienced talent from the big corporations.
Yep.
I think we just stole like 6 people from one of the biggest, I won't say what kind of mineral, but it was a mineral company. And they were their 6 best guys, arguably.
Yep.
And we got them all. And they're going to change the face of our company in 2020. So it does take some experience with the young guys. And I think that's a good mixture for you, like Dan. You can talk to Dan and realize this dude's legit.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be where we were at if it weren't for someone like Dan, because he gives us the gray hair, the credibility. He was my boss at the software company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
he was VP of marketing for that company.
Awesome.
And kind of got tired of the same stuff I did, so left. And then it took me a while before I could afford him. And I'm paying him a lot more than I pay myself.
Yeah.
But he gives us that credibility, and it kind of grounds us. And you know, he has military experience. He's been in healthcare. He's been in construction for a while, and so he's seen a lot. And I'm a kid. I don't know what I don't know right now, and it'll be like that for a long time. I don't have much experience.
Well, Gant, it's funny, when we were kind of struggling for the line of credit, because we've bumped our line of credit, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now. Now it's a ridiculous amount. But when we were first trying to get it, same stage you're at now, Gant and I were like, we need some gray hair. Like, we need to go get that Just for Men salt and pepper pack, put it in our hair, put some fuzz on our face, because I can't grow facial hair. I know you can't. You look like you're 14.
Absolutely.
I look like I'm 18. That's a real thing. I went to a project. This is no lie. It was a multi-year mining contract. It was a big opportunity for us. It was about 1.5 years ago. The client had seen all of our stuff, was super impressed. And we had already had some big work under our belt at that time. We had some big contracts in place. We go look at this project. We're dollar for dollar with the guys we're bidding against. Old firm, old money, but stale, old equipment. You know, I'll just say not creative solutions for the client. We were dollar for dollar. The board voted to go with the other guys because they were old. And I looked, literally, I've got the email saved in my inbox. You look way too young to be running a company. I mean, that was a kick in the balls back then. I was like, man, how? And there's nothing I can, other than getting a Just for Men salt and pepper pack.
Wearing a fake mustache everywhere.
And being somebody I'm not, for me, I think it's super awesome to see young people putting it all out there. There's this kid, and I don't know how old he is. I don't even know who he is. Line boring kid on Instagram. Dude is out there grinding in the dirt, rebuilding, line boring on all these 657s. I guarantee he's making a ton of money because I know what people make in Southern California doing that kind of work. I love seeing young people kill it and stick it to kind of the stigma of, well, you don't know anything. I know I don't know anything. I'm learning. I made $1 million mistakes, and I made a lot of them this year.
Yeah.
Thomas knows. We talk about it.
Yeah.
I made several $1 million mistakes in 2019, but I can tell you I'm not going to make those same mistakes in 2020.
Exactly.
Well, I think inexperience is a double-edged sword, and it's been way more of an asset to me than a liability because, one, I don't know the proper way of marketing. And I think proper way marketing is complete nonsense. I see what these big marketing agencies are doing, and I think it's just robbery. It's almost criminal, I think, what they're doing. I don't know the proper way to do it. I'm just doing what I think is right. Okay, what's the story? How do I tell it? How do I do best I can?
Yep.
And so we created this. We just, here's the rule book, tear it up, because we don't know any better.
Yep.
And then two, it's been hugely valuable to be young because I'm not a threat. Yep. So it's all through college, I interviewed people, really successful people, architects, real estate executives, construction executives. I had met the president of every construction company in Phoenix by the time I'd graduated college. And you just call them up, take them to lunch, and they'll tell you everything they know. Because you're just a kid. You're not a threat.
Yeah, they're not scared of you.
Not at all. So I've been able to get a really intimate look at each business we work with. They'll tell me anything because our company's a neutral party. We're not a competitor. And two, I'm just a kid. And so I'll just ask all these questions just out of genuine curiosity. But they'll open up, here's our business. And I do it so we can better help them, so I can better understand their business, how they operate, how they make money, what their problems are, so that I can solve some of those problems. But I wouldn't be able to say, okay, how much money are you making, and what's your profitability, and what's your turnover looking like? Yeah. If I was 45, no, screw you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna come for my business. I think it's crazy because what we're doing, especially with this podcast, I want everyone to know. I want our competitors. I can name off 4 of our biggest competitors right now, and you know who they are. You've done work with them. I want them to know what we're doing. I'll tell you everything besides our contract pricing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how we're stealing all the people from the big companies. I'll tell you how we train our people. We're showing how we're doing mind forming training. I want to show it all because I think for us, when our clients see that, it gives us credibility. When they look at me, a young guy, they think, I don't know, this is too good to be true. He's a young guy. He doesn't have the experience. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing. I don't know if we're going to take a chance on him. I want them to come in here. This office is all glass. I want people to come in here and see what's going on. I want them to see what happened last night with all of our guys and the culture. What we're doing, we are very diligent in the fact that we want people to feel different when they come here.
Yeah.
We want our turnover to be low. Not because, we're going to pay somebody more. We want to turn over below because these people are so bought into the vision. We had dudes getting tattoos of one of our company slogans. Swear to you. You saw the pictures? Yep. Tattoos. If they're inking it into them, their life, I tell everyone I interview, I want you to come here and retire. And I'm not going to be able to do that just by paying you more than the next guy. Eventually our competitors are going to get, they're going to hurt enough. They need some talent. They'll pay somebody $1 more. Yeah. I need my guys to say, you know what? The $1 more is not worth it.
Yep.
I'm wearing the TMG flag forever. And there were some guys here last night that will literally say, I am wearing the Turner flag forever. As long as this company doesn't, screw me over. And trust me, unlike the 5149 thing, and you've heard Gary talk about it, I want to give a little bit more than what I get. And that's part of being a business owner, I think, getting paid last and all that. I want people to think they've got a path here, and whether you're 18 or whether you're 40, Tim Kuhn's a good example. He's a lifer.
Yeah.
Albert, Albert's never going to go anywhere.
Yep.
And, you know, Albert and I have some tough conversations, but I want people to, I want it to be different. And so that's why I want people to come in here and get an inside look at what we're doing. How are they doing it? Why are they doing it? So I cut you off earlier with 2020. What are there segments that you're aiming for? Are there, I mean, what's your, and maybe you don't want to tell everybody, maybe you want it to be a surprise, but dropping the Instagram bomb, that was pretty wild. What else are you thinking about in 2020?
It's, I mean, really everything we do is not a secret. I'm like you guys, there's no secret to what we're doing. And if you want to go try to replicate it, go for it. I know how hard I'm working right now. I know how much it takes. And it's like, okay, great. If you want to go head to head with me, I'll do it all day long. and I'll just get up earlier and just outwork you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that for me. I'm hard headed because I'm not very smart. So I just have to work
I'm the
all
dumbest
time.
guy in this office.
Yeah, I'm not.
I had the lowest IQ in this office. I promise you that.
Yeah. But so 2020 is going to be interesting because we're focused on this, on building out the media group. So building out our capabilities. We're really going to start to grow into video, into doing web better. We're also growing out what we call Build It Partnership, which is we had our first meeting in August, and it was the owner of every company we work with. So we invited 18 owners, 14 showed up, 4 had prior commitments.
I had FOMO when I saw the pictures.
Yeah, this is
Who was
Nashville,
there?
right?
Yeah. So it was in Nashville, and so we've created this group of companies and basically formed our own peer group. And you have to be part of Build What to be involved in it, and it's the owner of every company. And we just talked about finances, safety. I mean, it was a really intimate conversation. That's the point. And I'm trying to put myself out there to lead by example. And I don't tell these companies to do anything I'm not already doing, and I want to be doing it first.
Yep.
So they can look at me like, yeah, he's not a fraud. He's being vulnerable with all his people.
Yep.
And so we're going to be building out the Build It Partnership, try to start doing, instead of just executives, a safety conference. Send your safety guy. Finances and operations and equipment. And we're going to have 2 more meetings. And this year we're getting into training. So I want to get into operator and technician training.
That's wild. That's always a big need there.
Yeah. And I think
people that are doing it now
huge
aren't
need.
doing it.
No, they're not. There's no solution
Ask
right now.
any one of our project managers that they've taken a kid from I'll say a heavy equipment, that air quotes for you guys listen, heavy equipment training school.
It's terrible.
It's
a joke.
I feel bad for the kids paying $10,000 to go to these schools.
And that's where I'm at too. And we just want to familiarize people. Take totally green people, familiarize them, not teach them to be a great operator, because that's ridiculous. I can't do that in a school. But they'll know how to grease a machine. They'll know how to check the oil. They'll know what the pedal and the dozer does. Yeah, it doesn't make it go faster. It makes it go slower. And just teach them basic principles. Teach them leadership principles. We'll be able to cast an enormous net. I mean, we reach a few million people. Let's go use that network to go find the top 5% that are ready to get after it, and then go place them with the companies we work with.
Yeah.
So we want to get into training. I think I've seen the best training facilities in the country, and they're owned by billion-dollar companies.
Yep.
A company. I want to go have something 10 times nicer in the next 10 years.
That's awesome.
And I can't wait to start buying tractors, because it's...
What's the first thing you buy? Money's no object, and don't say a 390. You cannot say a 390.
Well, I want to go buy equipment for personal use one day.
I know.
So, I want to farm, and I want a 374. 390 is a little bit too big for personal use for me.
All right.
But
makes me feel better.
We're just going to start small. Mini excavators, small dozers, real simple stuff, and scale from there. We're going to try to partner with former cat trainers, and we're going to do it right. It's going to be right from the very beginning, and it's going to be the best in the industry. I don't want to just do it just to do it. It's going to be the absolute best. So we're going to have that kind of green course, and then we're going to have, hey, send your blade operators, for GPS blade training. Because I've been realizing too, all these guys, even people, they've been running blade for 30 years. They still don't really know how to properly use the thing. Yeah. They need to be taught, what the machine can actually do. And I've attended some of these training courses, and there'll be 30-year guys sitting there like, wow, I had no idea. And just try to make them better. Anyone can learn in this industry. That's the cool thing. You're learning every day. So training's a big thing. We're getting into recruiting. We talked a little bit about it. One of our next hires is actually a full-time recruiter. And then we're going to build out a consulting group, essentially. So I want, a full-time lawyer. I want a full-time safety professional. I want HR consulting. I want financial consulting. I want to start helping the companies that we work with out on their business itself, because they're really good at moving dirt. But I've realized a lot of them really don't know how to operate their business very well.
Unbelievably true.
Yeah.
It's the mom and pop folks who move dirt well. don't do anything else well.
No. So I've looked at their business and I've seen a lot of other business. I'm sitting here, I'm like, you guys need to operate your business better, but they don't know any better. So let's give them the resources. Yeah. Used equipment. I think that's very low hanging fruit. I look at current used equipment options right now. Everyone, it's just complacent.
Well, you were with some folks this week that are doing something totally different. And I didn't even know about these guys, but the used equipment thing, I agree. I think it's going to be a revolutionary market very soon. Yeah. I feel like it's got to be.
It has to be. And there's so much opportunity there. So I guess the point is we're creating a group of companies serving the exact same customer base. So I don't have to go out and get any customers. I don't have to go sell anything. It's fantastic. And then, okay, I start up my used equipment platform. I just go to all our partners and say, hey, what do you have for sale? Let's go sell some tractors. Yep. And my goal to start is let's just sell one tractor and scale it from there. What could go wrong? Yeah. And how hard can it be? Sell a tractor.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm saying that because I'm extremely naive.
Well, I think, when I look back to where you started and when we first met and we started DMing on Instagram to now, and I look at that, with that 3 or 4 years, whatever that's been, I can see 4 years ahead. I've seen the path that you're on and how fast it's happened, and I hear your vision and what you're talking about. There's no doubt in my mind. Maybe you don't hit every single goal. You're going to get kicked in the balls a whole lot during the next 3 or 4 years, but you won't be sitting in the same spot now. No. Maybe you fail 3 times between now and then, but you're just the type of guy, like last night everyone went out, and you didn't go out. You got up early.
Yeah, I had stuff on my mind. We have contracts to send out, and I had to think through things tonight. And I was, in here 7:30 trying to get stuff sent out before this. Yeah. It's just it doesn't stop.
I tell some of our young guys that are we got a bunch of young people that have all kinds of aspirations. I had one kid tell me, "I'm going to own your company someday," and I was like, "Man, that's the best thing I've ever heard."
I'm not going to be alive for forever. Great, let's make it happen.
If you want to be part of the 1%, you got to do what the other 99% aren't going to do. And I think, whether that's the 1% of the best equipment operators in the world or business owners or whatever, painters, whatever you want to be the 1% of, you got to do what 99% of the other people aren't going to do.
Yeah.
Tracy runs 100 miles at a time. That I would say you're a 1% runner. 99% of all the other people aren't going to go through what she goes through. You got to see the pictures of her feet. I won't get into the gruesome details of all that.
Yeah.
That's a 1% thing. And I've carried that into what we do here. And I don't want to lose that, because I think some owners and some businesses, they get to a spot where they get fat, they get comfortable. We've won a bunch of big contracts. We could kick back and just cruise. I think that's our demise.
Yeah. That's when that's one of our core values is stay humble or be humbled.
Yeah.
From Jocko.
I love that.
I mean, it's everything. And in our business, it's extremely important to be humble, because, our mission, change the dirt world. That's great, but I don't move any dirt. I don't own a single shovel. So how am I going to go change the dirt world? It's not about us. It's about our partners. They're the ones doing the work. They have the people. They have the machines. It's about them. It's not about us.
Yep.
And that's my whole marketing strategy is just talk about what the companies we're working with are doing. Yeah. I don't really talk about myself. And when I do, I'm trying to just share a little bit about what we're actually doing. It's not from a self-serving point of view. And we're developing a new website right now. And it was going to be traditional, just marketing website. Yeah, here's our services. Here's all our projects. Wow, we look great. And I just look, I'm like, no, that's the wrong approach. Let's just make the whole website about our partners. And just make it about them, period. Not even talk about the stuff we've done for them. Just say, here's a sweet video, and here's their great brand, and here's how it's looking. People are smart; they can put 2 and 2 together. Wow, I want to be a part of this group, and that's the goal of the Build It partnership, is to build a group of companies. That's the future of the industry, period. Yeah. And these are all hungry companies. I mean, like Dylan Stevens with Rosso. We were talking with him 2 weeks ago. He's just sitting there. We were talking about 10, 15, 20-year goals. He's sitting there. He's like, Witt, what do they do? Like 8 billion, 10 billion a year? He's like, I think I can do that. And
I love that.
He's not even remotely in.
I love that.
Yeah, but he's sitting there with just a blank look on his face, like, I can go stick it to Witt. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what? I want to be on your team. Yeah. And I want to help you do, I want to solve whatever. If you have too much dog shit in your front yard, I want to go pick it up for you, do whatever you need done, because I'm on board 100%.
Well, and you're somebody that you could monetize your personal brand. You are, you're sitting here with the Bill Witt hat on. You could monetize you.
Yeah.
I could monetize me. There are very few pictures of you on your Instagram or on your LinkedIn. There are very few pictures of me. You're making the hero of your story about people. We're doing the same thing. It is all, if our people aren't the hero of the story and it's about me or it's about you, it's a pretty lame story.
And it's a fad. You're not, it's just thinking so small. And I see people doing that kind of stuff. I don't want to point anything in particular, but I'm like, you can't think bigger than that. Like that's you can't see past your own 2 feet. It's just, there's a bigger picture here. And so if I go monetize my Instagram or go sell a bunch of stuff or promote a bunch of stuff that's just nonsense, I'm going to eliminate the credibility of the brand. I want the Build It brand to be more influential than Caterpillar, more influence. It's not going to be better known than Caterpillar. That's absurd, but it's going to be more influential. It's going to go change the industry, fundamentally reform how we do business. And I'm not going to go do that peddling the hat I'm wearing right now on my Instagram.
Well, I'm gonna steal a hat because I think there's only like 40 or 50 of them out there that exist.
Yeah, we sold out.
I'm putting one on eBay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make $400.
Yeah, I told Jack, I was like, I just want to do 50 right now, and then I don't know when we'll make 50 more.
That's like you nailed it. You've got like the Gary V model where you come out with like a limited number. Like I bought some Gary V shoes at size 9. I'm a size 13. I bought size 9. Just to put them on eBay in a year, and quadruple my money. I'm gonna steal a Bill Witt hat from somebody who has one, and I'm gonna put it on eBay. I'm gonna make a ton of money. Do we have any questions from? No questions. Everyone's probably working. Our audience, hopefully, at 10 a.m. is working.
Let's see what I got.
They better be anyway.
Let's see. It's probably just a bunch of dumb stuff.
And we didn't hype this yet. I think we want to leak this in a way that is going to catch a lot of people off. I mean, why would a mining company have a podcast? For me, and I said this earlier with Thomas, I don't care if anybody listens to this other than our people. I want our people to hear from me my words and vision for the company and the good human beings and how we're going to develop people and how. I mean, we've had some of our employees who have made huge mistakes, like really career-ending mistakes, like fireable offenses. Don't ever call me again. And I've really taken it upon myself to think, okay, big picture. How do I get this person where they really should be? Because a lot of these people have real talent.
Yeah.
They've got a real future. They screwed up. They made a bad decision. Whatever the case may be, I want that person to feel so loyal because we reinvested into them after their little Armageddon episode that should have destroyed the whole relationship. And we've done that with a few people, and it's crazy to see how that's impacted, our culture.
So we got a bunch of questions here.
Okay.
They're actually good. First one is an insider question. What's the how many tailgates have you damaged this year?
Oh shoot, I can probably answer that one for him.
Yeah, I haven't actually ripped any of them off, but I've banged into a few of them, and that I love running heavy equipment,
which is awesome, by the way.
What are you banging into them with the most? What size machine?
Big machines.
Yeah,
I mean your machines, pretty much.
I've seen you bang some big.
Yeah, God, the whole Turner Mining Group executive team was right there when I just railed one of them one time.
I told one of the kids that was in the truck, I said, he did that on purpose just to wake you up.
Yeah.
Like
Just want to make sure you weren't sleeping. Yeah. But I running equipment it's just fun for me. I didn't grow up around heavy equipment or anything, so I had to figure my way into the industry. And every chance I get, I just look at whoever's in charge on the side. I'm like, so could I get in that?
Thomas banged some gates on a 750 at Volvo days,
I
right?
went to Volvo Day. I am the worst.
It's painful to go to those events because most everyone doesn't know how to run equipment. You're just sitting there like, oh man,
I can't believe they let all these people in.
I know. I was like,
painful.
you don't want to let me in this.
Yep.
Okay, I'll try.
So a few, but never knocked any of them off.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's another question around brands of equipment, which is obviously a hot topic.
Did you hear
you want to comment?
Did you hear my comment here? It was a couple weeks ago. I said to me, all these equipment manufacturers, brands, they're spoons and forks. I could care less if it's a Doosan, and that's going to make people cringe. Our equipment guy, we had a company. I'm not going to call them out. We had a company offer, I would say, a very subpar, brand new machine, new to the industry, to us for free to try it for a while, and we're running a Cat 374. We're going to run this other machine right beside it. It's same class machine, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't care I mean, if it breaks, come fix it, whatever. I mean, production's one thing, but for me, 374, Volvo 750, D6s, I will say, Cat makes a little better dozer than anybody else, but for me, it's all just spoons and forks. It's a tool.
Same thing.
I don't care what it is.
Everyone gets mad at me. Oh, you post so much Caterpillar. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't care. It's just, I'm sorry everyone runs Caterpillar. I'm sorry they dominate every market they're in. Yep. It's not my fault. But the reality is every company we work with, they very, very, very rarely run one type of equipment.
Yeah.
And I think it's hilarious when you talk to these dealer reps or people from corporate, because they think they don't even talk about the other brands. Like they just
they don't exist.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
But it's like, have you ever been on a job site? Because your brand's running right next to the other one. And if you just thought about, okay, how do we coexist with these other equipments, you'd be way better off.
Exactly.
But everyone's out to just go kill everyone.
We've got a big internal debate right now. We've got 4 or 5 Volvo 750s running across the country, 2 on one site. And they're $150,000 cheaper than a 374.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know that.
Yep.
And they have a little bit bigger bucket. The ones that we've had, because we've got a bunch of 374s running as well, the Volvo 750s that we've had have proved to be awesome machines. A couple of them have got some hours on them now, 2,500, 3,000 hours. We're starting to see some downtime. And so we've got some of these fanboys in the office, Caterpillar Kool-Aid drinkers. They're like, see, we told you, why not spend a little more on Cat because it's never down. And I'm like, guys, run the numbers. The 374s go down. They all go down.
They all go down.
To me, it doesn't matter. Even the $150,000 you save, maybe you don't get it back on residual when you go to resell a 750 in comparison to a 374. I truly believe that. I think the Cat used equipment market is probably hotter than anybody else just because of the brand loyalists.
Yep.
But for me, that's a silly question. It's spoons and forks. Yeah. I'm not an equipment guy. I will say we only drive Ford trucks. So if you want to talk about Ford versus Chevy versus anything else.
That was not the question. The question was heavy.
Yeah, I'm a lot of people off.
I'm a Kool-Aid. I just lost 150 followers.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yep. I didn't want those guys anyway. Get off my page.
Awesome. This is a super good one. So a young person running a small side business, so side hustle. Any advice?
I talk to people about this every once in a while. It gets to the point where you're not going to be replacing your income entirely. I mean, I think very rarely can you go create a side business that goes and replaces your income entirely from your primary job.
Yeah, I love this advice.
It gets to the point where you just have to go for it. And oftentimes in going for it, you're going to create a situation where you have to make it work now. Yep. Like I don't have any other choices. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, you can go work for another construction company or you can go work anywhere now. It's like, no. I've worked for myself now. I don't have a choice.
You're never going back.
I'm never going back. This has to work. The boats have been burned and there's so much urgency and drive created and just making the leap. So
I love that.
That's a true entrepreneur answer because for me, it's 100% on point.
Yeah, you did the same thing.
I am a no side hustle guy. I could make money doing a lot of different things. I am just a natural sales guy. Like I just love selling. I have zero patience, time, thought, energy for anything else other than building what we're building. I had an amazing job with my family's business. My uncle, brought me into the industry. I was making a ton of money. I was living the dream, traveling, doing everything. I was like the guy. There was no side hustle for me. When I stopped, I'm doing TMG all the way, 100%. If it fails, guess what? I'm doing this again differently, using the lessons I've learned to not fail again. If I fail again, I'm doing it. I'm not going to go work for somebody.
Yeah.
I would lose it all. And I've said this before, and people don't believe me. I would lose it all. The house, all the pickup trucks, all the equipment, all the people. I'd rather everyone leave and this whole thing fail and me start over than to go give up and work for somebody. That's a DNA thing. I truly believe it.
Love that answer. Actually, to both of you again, what's the number one mistake you see companies making in either mining space, construction space, whatever?
I think from what I see, and I'm going to go back to the hiring because that's everyone's biggest problem. Everyone moves dirt real well, and everyone does it the exact same way too. That's the funny thing is they don't want cameras on their sites, but it's like
ridiculous.
Guys, you do it exactly the same as everyone
else.
else.
Wait, you're telling me we don't load trucks better than everyone else in the business?
Not at all. It's the exact same way as everyone else. Period. they make it about themselves. They just talk, hey, we're amazing. We're the best contractor in the world. We do it safely. We do it with the best quality. We respect everyone. We do it with integrity. It's like, what does that even mean?
Everybody does that.
If everyone's doing it, you look the same as everyone else.
Exactly.
So what is that? So it's about, instead of making it all about you, it's defining what really makes you different and making it all about your people and about your customers, period. If you just focus on your people, your customers, you're going to have more people than you know what to do with hiring-wise. You're going to have more work than you know what to do with.
I think the biggest mistake for me, this is a no-brainer, hands down. They don't share enough. They're not open enough.
Yeah,
They're
same
not
point.
transparent enough. We had a guy in here yesterday, president of one of the dealerships, the big, he's the guy running a big, profitable, awesome dealer. He came in here. We had all these mics set up, headphones ready. His team told him, no, you can't go on and talk about stuff.
It would have been the best advertising.
I'm like, dude, and we had a
for free.
conversation anyway. All this stuff was turned off. I told Zach, just turn it on. Just let it run.
Yeah.
Don't even tell him we're better people than that. Or they're better people than that. I'm not a better person than that. The conversation we had was unbelievable. It was fire.
was
People would love to
unreal.
have heard that. People don't share enough. I talked about this earlier, and you did 75 hard. That's Andy Frisella, First Form. I am only ever going to buy supplements from Andy.
Yeah.
I am so into what he's doing and his mission. I could go on Amazon or any other company, GNC, and buy
Way
vitamins anywhere. Yeah. And I could buy them cheaper. Yeah. I'm going to spend $10 more on my vitamins and buy them through Andy just because of what he shared and who he is and what he believes in. People there are amazing companies out there that I would be a Cat brand loyalist if someone from Cat was having a podcast or just having a Q&A
100%.
and sold me on why I should believe in you guys.
Yeah.
No one's doing it.
No, but like sharing and vulnerability and social starts at the executive level. And that's what they don't understand about you guys. And I was just telling someone about this the other day. They see what you guys have done. I want to go do what Turner Mining's doing. That's what I hear all the time. I'm like, that's great. But I don't think you understand. They're seeing all the people you're hiring right now. They don't understand how long you've been doing this for.
Yep.
You've been polishing and polishing and polishing. So everything you put out right now is extremely intentional, because I was following you back when you were with a different company.
Yep.
And you were sharing their operations.
Yep.
And it was still, you were like, oh, I don't really know how much I can share and put out there. And I'm sure you were getting in trouble all the time.
My biggest rip job of all time was when someone found out I was posting that didn't like me posting.
Yeah. And so you've been doing it, but it started from you. That's why anyone else at Turner Mining Group posts, because it started from you, and then it goes to you, and then it goes to Michael, and then it goes to you guys. It starts from the top down. And executives, they don't understand. In this industry, they see social media, well, that's just a waste of time. Oh, I don't understand it. Or they make so many excuses as to why not to do it when they just don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it starts from the top, and they need to start viewing social media as like, oh, it's just a waste of time. It's what kids do. No, this is an amazing business tool. You guys are using it to hire hundreds of people to make millions of dollars. We're making millions of dollars with it. Yep. It's real.
It's real stuff.
It's a real tool.
It's real.
And it starts in the top. It starts, if our Cat dealer, we want our people to start sharing. Well, then get the dealer principal on board. Have the dealer principal start to share.
Exactly.
I guarantee you everyone else will start sharing.
15 years ago, we would be a 25-person company at this point in our existence. Without social media, we'd be a 15-person company, 2 crews. We couldn't scale.
No.
With social media and putting it all out there and sharing everything and doing this podcast is now hopefully going to take us to the next level. Maybe
Absolutely.
An executive at Freeport McMoran hears this and says, well, shoot, these Turner guys, they're young. They're probably dumb. We don't know what they can do, but I love what they're doing. We're going to have them out and see what they've got. To me, I think that's how we win long-term is transparency, sharing. We don't know it all, but we're going to put it out there. And I think having a team full of good human beings, you just can't lose long term.
No, and one, if someone is from Freeport listening to this, also hire us, because we'd love to work with Freeport.
100%.
Hire both of us at the
They're
same
right in
time.
my backyard. I live in Phoenix, damn it.
Yeah.
But 2, it's more, and you've said this too, it's about internal communication, almost more than external communication.
Agreed.
So you're sitting there communicating with every single job site in the United States every single day. They're able to communicate with you directly. There's you can build a company so fast.
Fun side note: I just got a guy that works for Freeport $100,000 bonus because we were trying to hire him, pay him stupid money.
Oh, nice.
And he accepted, and he told Freeport he was leaving. They gave him $100,000 bonus to stay.
yeah.
He'll still come over eventually.
Yeah, eventually he'll come.
Yeah, he said mid
only a matter of
2020
time.
when his contract's up. All right.
Exactly.
Is that the stuff you don't want to put out there? That
No,
kind of stuff?
that's the stuff we want.
I didn't call him by name. I mean, he probably knows. He may not even listen to this.
If there's one thing you could go back and change.
Oh man, probably a couple of the $1 million mistakes I've made. I don't know. Probably not though, because I think those mistakes, and I could tell you a few of them, and they're legit. I mean, shows up on the income statement, $1 million loss. I think it saves us over the next 20 years $100 million. That lesson, it was $1 million lesson that's really transformed the way we do business. Kind of like when you said we fired you, that transformed how you think about your business. The mistakes that we've made, that I personally have made, I hired somebody, here a couple months ago who I thought was going to, based on their resume, they could have done my job. How they're going to transform the way we do business. We got this guy on a few of our projects, and it was a catastrophe. It was a joke. A good human being, I think. I didn't know him that well, but just couldn't do it. And so there's a lot of things that I could say I would change. I wouldn't change anything. I'm not doing this for the profits. So at least right now, I mean, money's a big part of it. We exist to make money. I want to make money.
Yeah.
I don't need a Lambo, but I'd like to be able to just say, yeah, sure, go get a couple Lambos. But for me, I think all the stuff I would change are just lessons that save me long term.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm in the similar boat. I think about this a lot. Like, is there anything I really genuinely regret? And this year, not really, because I know I'm exactly where I need to be right now. And so I don't sit there looking in the mirror every morning and thinking, man, you should really be somewhere else.
Well, you're swinging for the fences. Like when you're young and swinging hard every time you get a chance, like every opportunity that comes in the door, I know why you're up early and why you're working late and why you're on planes. Like when you're swinging as hard as you can at every single one of them, there's not a whole lot to leave out there.
No.
Like, I wish I would have done different.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say like I work harder. There's probably so many people that work harder and that are better. I remind myself every day, like, you are nothing. Like, you are absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And I tell myself that every single morning. I'm like, you're nothing. You deserve nothing. You're just nobody. But
our Michigan crew was getting up. I was up there a couple nights ago, and it was a freaking blizzard when the time we left the Christmas party. They were getting up at like 4:30 to get an equipment fired up and go. And I'm like, dude, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's like ball busting
that.
work. That's, I don't care what you say about working hard and putting in hours. No. That's hard work.
No, but for me personally, I'm doing everything I can. Exactly. And it's a personal thing. It's not, I'm not working hard to go prove myself to anyone else. I'm working hard to prove myself to me and to say, just look at myself in the mirror every morning and be like, okay, yeah, I'm doing whatever, I'm giving it all right now.
Yep.
And so that's why I really don't have any regrets right now. It's a cool feeling.
What this is another good one, personal one for both of you guys. Like, what's your personal purpose or meaning, or like, what are you trying to go be?
I've thought about this a lot, especially lately, because I'm at a point in my life where I didn't think I would get here at this stage of my life. I knew I'd be successful. I was never doubt in my mind. I thought it would take a little longer. I can pretty much do anything I want now. So I really have thought about what do I want the next 10 years to look like, and what do I want to spend my time doing? We could get more contracts and make more money.
Yeah. Does
that fulfill me fully? I probably not. For me, and this is going to sound super corny and cheesy and probably like the Christian thing to say, like, I want to impact people in a positive way. Like, I want to leave, if I die next year, I want a 500-person organization to feel differently because I existed. So, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but I just want to impact people in a positive way.
Yeah, I'm with you too. It's like, I think my life purpose right now is the purpose of the company. And and Thomas, you could go sit here and pull out your checkbook and say, you know what, I'm going to write you a check. What's your price? What do you want?
Don't think we haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. How many millions do you want?
Yep.
And I would just say,
no,
pound sand.
Yeah.
That doesn't motivate me, and that's why we're turning down a lot of work right now, because money is just, yes, it's important to run the business, but it's not a motivator for me. I'm starting to see the big picture. Someone needs to really change this industry. move things along, shake it up a little bit. And I really want to be that person and create that organization to do that, because it needs to happen for society's sake. We don't have roads and bridges, and you can't go to the airport to go visit grandma. You can't turn the faucet on in the morning. You can't do any of that without infrastructure. So that's what I want to help ensure the future of infrastructure, essentially, through mining, construction, and I guess that's the purpose of our business and what I'm doing.
I love that. Love both those answers. We've gotten requests. We need to plug the podcast. So you want to talk about where you can find this?
Oh man, where can you find this? I guess everywhere where you listen to podcasts. I don't. I listen to podcasts on the podcast app on my phone.
What I do.
There you go. It's there.
It's being recorded, so I'm assuming it'll be on YouTube. We'll probably put snippets of it on IG and LinkedIn.
Yep.
But if you want to listen to this, we got the headset on. We can hear ourselves. The audio sounds really awesome. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, Zach killed it.
I would say anywhere where you listen to podcasts, Spotify.
Yep. iTunes, the podcast app, all that kind of stuff. And then you talk about what you're going to do.
What? Oh, with our own?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to start a podcast too. I'm not very good at this stuff, but we're going to start. I meet so many cool people, and I think that's the most rewarding thing about what I do right now. And it's crazy. I'm 24, and I'm meeting 100 people a week right now. It's why, and I'm definition introvert. I hate talking to people. I just want to be at home. I get anxiety before every trip I go on, every single trip. And I've been on 80-something flights this year, and that's never going away. And then I talk to people all day long. I get home just, oh, thank God I'm home. I don't like talking to people, but it's been awesome to start hearing about these stories and people that have been homeless living under bridges, and now they're making a ton of money in this industry, or people that grew up, on grandpa's lap on a dozer. And so we're going to start basically just bringing along 2 microphones. It's not going to be this fancy because we have to put it in a backpack.
I told Zach and Tracy this is way too fancy.
We have
a bunch of dirt movers.
I got a radio station.
It's in my backpack. It's just 2 microphones, and so we can interview people in the pickup truck, on job sites, in offices, wherever we are. So it's going to travel with us, and
love that.
I'm not sure how it's going to end up, but I just hear so much cool stuff, and I want to start sharing it with people and use that to inspire some folks too.
It'll be fun to listen to.
That's super cool. You guys got any parting words?
Man, it's been fun. I knew when we talked, because we talked about doing a podcast for a long time, and I had kind of always thought about, how do we want to spin it? Who do we want on it? Is it the Keaton Turner show, or is it? And of course, I didn't want that. I'm not as introverted as you, but I'm definitely not a spotlight guy. I knew from the moment we decided we're going to do it, I was like, yeah, Aaron Witt's the first one. I think our stories, how we both started together, how you helped us build the brand, and we were your first client, and we grew together, and then we broke up, and we didn't talk for a while, and you were pissed, and we grew back together, and now here you are. It's a full, you rose like a phoenix out of the ashes, and now you've got this unreal company. To me, it is a no-brainer. We could have all kinds of crazy people, and just like you, VPs and people that are fun to talk to. But for me, our story kind of comes full circle when you and I get together and do this. And I want to do this again in 2 years, or maybe next year, or 5 years. Because I know we won't be in the same spot, for better or for worse. I'm sure you won't. But you're not going to give up, and we're not going to give up. So it's super fun. I've enjoyed the heck out of it. I hope that everyone else gets some nugget of value. I think if we've helped one person, maybe it's an 18-year-old kid thinking about going to college or not, or someone thinking about starting a business, whatever. If we've helped one person, I think it's a success.
Yeah, I love that. You got any parting words?
I mean, if you're someone interested in this industry, and you guys talk about hiring young kids too, but I think it's important to target 30-year-olds.
Yep.
That are just miserable.
Yeah.
That are going to some nonsense office, doing some nonsense job, hating their lives.
Yep.
And to reach them and say, you know what? There's something better out there if you're the right person.
You just woke up 4 million people.
And that's what I want to tap into. But craft that message to, like you were saying, if you want to get into this industry, it's not unicorns, rainbows, fairies, all that. It sucks.
Yep.
It really sucks. And every company right now is afraid to say that because it alienates people, but that's exactly what we need to do. We need to alienate people. I don't want millions of applications for our program that's going to come out. I want a few thousand, and then I want to take 1,000 of 2,000.
Yep.
Because I want to be eliminating as much as possible before the funnel even starts. I don't want a lot of people. I want who's going to be good for this industry, and this industry. So it sucks, right? You're waking up early. You're working away from home a lot, long hours.
Yep.
It's dirty, really tough work. Really tough. Way harder than what we do.
Yep.
We kind of just hang out in comparison. We do
Absolutely.
nothing
I
compared
wear
to what
button
these guys
downs every day
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wearing the same pair of boots for 2 years, and they're still looking pretty nice. But that said, it also provides things that most every other industry can't touch. It provides the ability to see your work every day, which is a rarity in society.
Yep.
It provides a genuine sense of purpose and pride, because when you work your ass off, you feel really good about your work, right?
Exactly.
Think about what you're most proud of in life. It's probably what you've worked you worked hardest at.
Absolutely.
So if you're doing that every day or as a career, you're going to feel really good about yourself.
Yep.
And again, that's something most of these big corporations can't touch. The Silicon Valley companies, great, yeah, you've beanbag chairs and all that, but they don't give you a genuine sense of purpose. You're not making the world a better place.
No.
Maybe the app has $1 billion valuation, then tomorrow it's down $1 billion. It's not lasting like this industry is. It's not going away anytime soon. It's just this awesome place. It provides a great career to the great person. And then two, I guess while I'm here, a lot of companies reach out like, wow, we want what Turner Mining Group's done. And it's like, just look at what they're doing.
It's no secret.
There's no secrets like to what I'm doing or to what you're doing. And I've had to overcome that insecurity. And you have it's really psychologically difficult to go put everything out there. Because, I mean, I guarantee you're in the back of your mind, even as long as you've been doing it, there's stuff saying, I should not put this out there. I should not put this out there.
Yep.
Like, even last week, I published something about cash flow. I was like, I do not want to put this out there. But I'm like, all right, this is reality. This is what I'm facing. I couldn't make payroll last week, so let's put it out there. And it creates a great response. But you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, if you want to do what Turner Mining Group's doing, look at what they're doing. Open your eyes.
I would say that the people that want to do what we're doing, they think, well, we've got this young person on the staff that can go take pictures and they can be vulnerable. You've got to recognize if you're good at it or not.
Yeah.
If you're not good at it and your pictures suck and your message sucks, they've got to go hire somebody to do it. Whether it's you guys or some other firm, whatever, spend the money, because that's what we did early on. And whatever you were charging us at the time, I was like, holy crap, this is a lot of money to go get pictures. It's a drop in the bucket compared to the value.
Yeah.
Spend the money to go broadcast your message in the right way. Yeah. Because some people think they're good at it, and their message is good. And there's a lot of companies out there that are doing it right now themselves that shouldn't be doing it themselves.
No.
You should. If we didn't have Zach, we would never do this ourselves.
Yeah.
Ever. I would not pay somebody to go take pictures if they're not as good as Zach's, or take video. So I think recognize in your own staff, should you do it in-house or not?
Yep.
And you probably need to get some outside opinion to say, is my stuff good, or should I scrap all this and go hire somebody to do it? I think that's a real interesting conversation that companies should have with themselves.
But I guess even more fundamentally, you can't be promoting a terrible company, right?
Great,
and so a lot of these
point.
big old dinosaurs want what you guys have. They'll never get it. They're broken. They're broken organizations. They're dysfunctional. They don't have a culture. They have... you go ask anyone, why are you here? Oh, for a paycheck. That's the whole organization. Tens of thousands of people sometimes. That's a big problem. And it's going to take a lot of time to right that ship in a different direction, or they're not there anymore. Yeah. So before the storytelling, I think is just a byproduct of an already great company. That's what I tell everyone when they come to us. I can't go make a terrible company look great. It's not going to work. It needs to be a great story to tell. I'm just telling it. I don't make anything up. And that's like, we made you guys look bigger than you actually were in the beginning, but nothing was fake. It was all, heck no. I don't really edit my pictures. Nothing was staged. I would just show up with the camera, hang out with Albert a little bit. He'd let me run the 470 excavator that you guys had at the time. And then I would just take a few pictures. We post them on Instagram, and that was that. But it was like 100 pictures of the exact same excavator.
I know. I think the reason why it made us look bigger than what we were, because no one else was doing it. People saw these pictures and they're like, holy crap, they're legit pictures. The messaging is legit. People are smiling, having fun. Like, this is a big company, because no one else is going to spend the time or money to go do this kind of marketing. When in reality, we were, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 people back when you made your first visit.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's a real story, and that's another big mistake companies make is they go tell this nonsense story. Like a lot of dealers in particular, they want to go polish the technician trade.
Yeah.
It's not a polished trade.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a technician with brand new coveralls on.
Yeah.
I want to see a technician just filthy head to toe, laying in the mud in a landfill underneath a dozer, repairing something on the undercarriage that they can't get to otherwise.
Yeah.
In the mud in a land. That is the career of a technician or mining guys. Just show the reality, because that's the special thing about it. And that's why I love this industry. I'm not polished. I hate political corrected nonsense and where the whole rest of the world's going to all this polished nonsense. This world is safe from it. It's just people doing good things, working really hard, just moving dirt. It's raw. And so keep it that way in your messaging. Don't polish the messaging. Pisses me off.
You're going to get big enough next year. You're going to need a compliance person. We're hiring a compliance person right now because I have a tendency of saying stuff that gets me in trouble. So
I do too.
I think you're going to get big enough. You're going to need a compliance person to keep you in line. But it's been super fun.
But it's a fine line. You want to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because that's what needs to happen in this industry is make people uncomfortable, but then also play politics.
Yeah.
I see people that don't play politics very
Yeah.
well, and they're
Yeah.
just trying to ruffle feathers to ruffle feathers.
It's like, what are you doing?
That's dumb.
Yeah.
You're just hurting yourself.
Yep.
But every time I ruffle feathers, I'm doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
You have to be smart about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we'll get a compliance person. But I don't have to deal with Shaw. I don't have to. Well, maybe one day I will.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. I enjoyed it. You got a flight to catch. I'm sure Angel's probably waiting on you. So, I love it. I can't wait to do it again. I'm sure next time
Aaron, you're awesome, dude.
it'll be
This
a
is
whole lot different. Yeah, it's great.
It's killer. Thanks,
This was
boys.
fun.
Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast. This is a new thing for us, so leave a review, give us your thoughts, and if you haven't already, tell a friend.